The internet is a big network of computers around the world. These computers need to communicate with each other through pipes, through connections, and the places where all of these connections collect is in data centers. So a data center is a bit like the airport of the internet. All the content comes in and then is sorted and then goes out in different directions. So when you're on Instagram or Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever, sending a picture or receiving a video, that is going through a physical server in a physical data center somewhere near you. So actually the internet is quite a heavy engineering thing. On top of that, then you have all the different technologies, and cloud is one of those technologies. So cloud allows the customers to access computing power without actually owning a piece of physical equipment.
Cloud is a generalized term. To a wide extent, it means that the user of the computing resources doesn't bother himself with having any physical equipment. On the physical servers, special software is installed, a so-called virtualization medium, allowing to represent these physical resources as a set of virtual resources and combining them in the needed number of virtual servers. For you, the real system's capacity is not actual. You need just some more gigabytes, and you get it with as much as you need. But in fact, your first 100 gigabytes can be on one server, and those you bought just now on another one. But you see all of it as being quite on your phone. This is what cloud means. In the street, you call, either somebody calls you, and your phone gets connected to the base station. Without it, any cloud technology is useless. I mean, some kind of a tower, upgraded to such an extent that it can be a base for placing there cellular communications equipment. Its design is similar to a fishing rod. One section is mounted on the other, and one by one, it makes a telescopic structure. The signal of your phone gets directly to the upper point of the base station, and from there, it is transmitted downwards. This radio signal is transformed into the analog one, going through the high-frequency feeder down to the radio block. These radio blocks transform the analog signal into the digital one and transmit it further to the base of the tower, where the brain of the base station is situated. It processes the signal and transmits it to the data center. Between the dual-use tower and the data center, the information is transmitted through the fiber optic communication lines, linking not only dual-use towers, but all commercial buildings. Metaphorically, these communication lines are as essential for the cloud as intermolecular bonds are for H2O. The cloud storage differs from the usual one by its fail-safety. When you store your file in the same Dropbox, it gets to the server instantly, creating minimum one more copy of every byte of your data. And these copies can be placed not on one and the same server or location or data center, but on several different, eventually situated on different continents. Scientists invented the cloud services classification. In principle, they are divided into three categories: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Here we can clearly distinguish SaaS and IaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service, a set of hardware used for installing the software provided by the service. And SaaS is the software installed on the server on these resources. This is the trend of all cellular communications development.
But it goes a lot beyond that. The big trend that we've seen over the past 10 years is the creation of the kind of the hypercloud. So the very, very big cloud instance in an enormous building with hundreds and hundreds of servers, thousands of servers, all in one room, and like one big enormous brain. the things that are changing on the internet are absolutely Internet of Things. So anything from a watch to a belt to a hat could be connected to the internet, could have an address, could be tracked, could be measured, and all of this information needs to be collected and analyzed somewhere. And we're seeing that phenomenon in the internet, that low latency, which means a very high speed of connections.
Increasing the number of base stations and consequently bringing them closer to end users.
За счет этого приближение этих базовых станций к конечному пользователю.
If now, let's say, we have in Moscow a few dozens of thousands of base stations,
то, может быть, мы можем говорить о том,
we can think of hundreds of thousands of them, when at some point we eventually will have fifth-generation communication lines.
этого поколения.
So this proximity of the data center to the population is a really key factor in the internet now, and that's quite a revolutionary change in the internet.